This is Digging Deeper with At the Coldface, and this week's episode is proudly sponsored by Milec Engineering. From automation and electrical control systems to maintenance, manufacturing and project delivery, the Milec team helps mining and industrial operations find practical solutions to complex challenges. Find out more at milec.com.au. And here's your host, Jessica Rouse.
I think we've all got friends, partners, parents. I've certainly got some who absolutely love fishing, whether it's for peace and quiet. I've got a mate who does it competitively, or to give their mental health some breathing space. Ken Bayley has been in mining since coming home from Afghanistan, and it was fishing where he'd always found his peace. And off the back of that, he's created mental fishing, originally for veterans in the community, but it's certainly extended far beyond that. Ken, how you doing?
Yeah, good. Yourself?
Very well, thank you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
My absolute pleasure. So I guess let's go back to kind of where it all started. Let's start with the fishing, actually. Is fishing something you've always done, like, since a kid?
It has, yes, it has been something that I've done since a kid. Yeah, it originally started when I used to go on holidays to Caloundra, Kings Beach, and my grandmother used to take me fishing when I was a little whippersnapper.
Yeah. What
So,
was it that you, I guess, that you really enjoyed about going?
it's just peaceful. It really is, and it's always about the conversations and that you have when you're fishing, and it's just time to relax. It's you do really find great peace just sitting on the side of the water and having a rod in hand, and waiting for something to bite.
Yeah, exactly. What did you enjoy about fishing? What was it that you enjoyed going out and doing?
It's always an adventure. You don't know what you're going to get. You're always you're prepping for the best, but you might not get the best. You might not come home with the goods. But in saying that, just getting out in nature is the biggest part about it. You know, and I just find the ocean peaceful. Anything to do with the ocean is very peaceful for me. I've had a lot of people reach out to me and they say the same thing. They go fishing for the same reasons, and that's because they find peace. And it's a good little hobby to get into.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I
Mm.
remember I've been out on a boat, not catching many fish, I must say. I've caught a fish once,
Yeah,
and it was flathead, and I was very proud of it, and I got to keep it because it was my first fish, even though it was, like, a little bit undersized. But anyway,
yeah,
um, and it is so peaceful. Like, I was
it
more
is.
than happy, even if I wasn't catching anything or that interested in what was going on, just
No,
sitting in the peacefulness that is the ocean or the lake or the river or wherever you are. It's
yep.
just so calming.
It is. It is exactly right. Yeah, I've done 120 k's in a day, bashing through rough weather, and I've never and didn't catch a fish for the day. But by the time I got back to the boat ramp, I was still chill. It's like a bit of mental resilience. I think that builds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like maybe helped your mental resilience as you got older and you were still fishing. You spent some time in Afghanistan. How long were you over there for?
So I did about 9 months in total. Yeah,
Yeah.
in 2010. Yep, and then I returned. Yeah, at the end of 2010, sort of around, I think it was Octoberish,
Yeah.
and went back to normal duties and that. And yeah, I was just struggling a bit with coming home.
Yeah.
So yeah, I left the military and I started pursuing another career, and I fished the whole time. So
Yeah.
it's always been a constant. So yeah, and then I ended up in mining. Funny enough, I never thought I'd ever do mining. Never thought I'd get into mining, but I had a job opening that came up in my local town of
Yep.
Billawheeler, and I got to work with mates and friends and family that I've known for years out there, and yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
That's so good. So
yeah.
what was that first job that you had in mining?
In mining, I was just a truck driver.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay, cool.
I was a trainee truck driver. Yep,
Yeah.
started, yeah, and then worked my way up. I ended up in rescue, become multi-skilled, ended up on diggers and things
Yeah.
like that. Yeah, so yeah, it was very rewarding,
Yeah, that's awesome.
and plenty
The
of
so
days off to go fishing. You got to add that in there.
Exactly. It's all about the balance.
Yes, it is.
That's so good. And as you say, fishing, it's always been that constant. When was it at a point where you sort of went, I could actually make something more of this little hobby that I've got?
Well, I just found out that I realised how much it helped me through a lot of my struggles. I could be having the worst day, and I'll have a mate invite me out just to go sit at the marina, and just cast the line out, and by the time I returned home, just sitting there, just having a chat and fishing, just everything that's involved with it. I just found a peace, like that was the one thing that really I've found peace doing, and it didn't matter whether I was in a boat or on land or anything like that, like
And I guess, everyone needs that little, mining can be a stressful job. Obviously, what you're doing before would have been quite stressful. And you need that outlet, away from
do.
work, away from the stress, away from the hustle and bustle to reset.
You do. Everyone needs that little bit of peace, especially after, like, if you do a hard week's work. You do need that silence. You do need that peace. You need that little bit of a retreat to rejuvenate and refresh. And some people find it by reading books, or some people find it going camping. And for me, it was fishing, and that's the one thing that I sort of locked onto, and that's the one thing that stuck with me. And yeah, it's become more than a hobby. It's become a bit of an obsession, but it's I always get the same feeling at the end of it. Doesn't matter, like I said, it doesn't matter if I catch a fish or if the weather's really rough or anything like that. It's just getting out there and having a crack, and and know that you're doing something that you like doing. It's really
Mm.
rewarding. And yeah, it rejuvenates. It's yeah, I find a lot of peace at the end of it. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So you created mental fishing.
Yep.
Tell me how it works. How are you getting people together?
So at the moment, it's just we've started out pretty small, as everything does. We've just released some shirts on social media and things like that.
Very cool looking shirts, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. So I had a really good artist down in Tasmania that did the work for me, and yeah, it's worked out really well. So we're just releasing shirts at the moment. The aim is just to create a really big community based around fishing and mental health and fishing. And yeah, hopefully it grows. I want people to
Yeah.
network with, you see somebody with a mental fishing shirt on, have strike up conversation, arrange a fishing trip. Like it's all good for mates helping mates, but strangers helping strangers is even better. Um, and yeah, so that's where we started at the moment. Hopefully, going to grow it into. Well, we're trying to work on it to be a non-for-profit charity.
Yep.
We're doing the steps as we speak to get it finalised, and then it's just going to be sort of organising catch-ups with groups, like group catch-ups. I've just purchased a boat that should be here in August, and the aim is for me to do trips up and down the coast and meet up with like-minded people and take them out on the water, because a lot of people don't have the opportunity to be in a boat, or get out and do the things that them big kind of excursions and that out to the
Mm,
reefs and things like that. So yeah, I just want to provide that service, and maybe it's for some people's, maybe it's not, but at least the opportunities there, and yeah, it's
exactly.
yeah, exciting.
Yeah. That's awesome. And you mentioned, the shirts being a conversation starter. And I think that's a key part of this whole mental health piece, right? Just starting that conversation. And it doesn't even have to be about, how you are. I could start with what fish did you catch? How big
Exactly.
was it? And you get
Yep.
comfortable and you start talking and being around other people.
Well, that's what I've noticed with fishing. Like, I've mentioned it before, but I've been on a boat with ten random people I didn't even know. And at
Yep.
the start of the day, no one was talking. But as the day progressed, and, a few fish came in and whatnot, everyone was happy, everyone's cheering. And the next minute, you're striking up a conversation and you get to know the person beside you, or, and then this is where all the conversations start flowing.
Yeah.
And especially with mental health, it's like I found myself, it's very hard to open up to people. Like it's a very hard thing to admit that you got, for one,
Mm.
and to open up and share openly. But um you know f- fishing out in a boat with people, and that I found it very easy. It's just I don't know how to explain it, but it is. It's just I just find people open up when they're in very comfortable situations, and I think the whole aspect behind it is because you're not going out to talk about your mental health, or you're not going out. You're just thinking you're going out fishing, but
Mm.
before you know it, you the floodgates open, and you're having decent conversations about real life stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I know that I've found I'm on the board of a not-for-profit charity here in the Hunter Valley in New South Wales, and we're not trained psychologists or anything like that. We're called You Matter, and we're basically a vessel or a point for people to come and have a chat or have a talk.
Yeah,
And, we have the information, the skills to point people in a direction should they need it. But I feel like these days that's what we need more in a sense than, the professional. We just need to have that point where people can talk to each other. Often that's all you need.
yeah, like exactly right. Like it's all good going to a psychologist or psychologist,
Oh, definitely.
all that. But that what you're going there to talk about, and it's daunting and it's scary. And
Yeah.
if you get in a supportive group with like people that are going through similar things, I found myself that I tend to be very relaxed, and I open up about things, and then somebody might mention something that they did that helped them, and you're like, oh, well, maybe I might try that, and that's where all this stuff starts flowing, and you end up getting the right help because you're seeing somebody that's doing so well, and you're wondering why, and next minute you're talking to them and they're telling you what they've been doing. It's like, well, maybe I should give that a go. Like I didn't want to do it in the past because I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but such and such said that this is what they did, and it works, so maybe I should give that a go.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. And I feel like you're in an industry that really needs this stuff too. I mean, mining can be high stress, it's long hours, your mental health can be impacted from the stress at work, but you
Yep.
carry that home when you're missing out on family stuff like birthdays and whatnot. If you're FIFO or, even if you're on shift on a weekend, and that psychosocial safety is something that's quite a big topic at the moment, as it should be to talk
Yep.
about when it comes to mining.
It is, and yeah, mining is it can be very stressful because at the end of the day, like you can be very isolated in what you're doing. Like especially if you're truck driving or you're in a digger or anything like that. Like you're in there by yourself, and the only form of communication you got is by two way. So I do find myself when I was in them situations that my mind would wander, and you could see that your mental health would start to struggle because you had nothing else to focus on bar what was going on, the noises in your head. So it is good to have a release on your days off and find something that you can de-stress you, and that because at the end of the day, any work situation is very stressful.
You're stressed and you're worried at work and your mental health's not great, it's a dangerous environment that
It is.
we're in mining. I mean, things can happen in an instant, particularly when you're, driving a truck or doing something else. So for the safety of yourself and everyone else, we need to make sure we're all in good mental check.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Because yeah, if one slip up in mining, it's usually a big boo boo.
Has the mining company that you work for gotten on board with what you're doing? And have some of the guys that you work with on crew, are they into fishing and are sort of sharing what you're doing, spreading the message?
They are. I've got a lot of mates at work that are actually getting behind it. Because anyone that works in the mines knows that your mining family is your second family because you
Exactly.
work with them 6 months of the year. Day in day out. So that you've always got a very supportive community there, and yeah, a lot of them have jumped on board, and yeah, a lot of them are in the background actually helping push this through and whatnot. I've got a little team happening, which is awesome and overwhelming. And yeah, I've always got support coming in from other avenues as well, which is it's really great.
Yeah. I think it goes to show how much something like this is needed, doesn't it? The fact that you've got all of this support around you and your community is growing so quickly.
It is, yeah, it is. And it's all about, especially with mental health and that, it's you've got to have good people around you, and
Exactly.
if you put in the hard yards, you find that you've got a lot of good people that come with that hard work, and they do get right behind you. And being from Biloela, we're a small little community, and we're a very supportive community. And yeah, everyone's getting behind mental fishing and helping out, which is really good. makes you work harder.
Oh, exactly right. And as you said, boats coming at the end of the year, you're planning some fishing trips. I think your community's only going to keep growing.
Yeah, well, that's the plan, and like I said, like it's not the community's not just about me and the boat or anything like that. It's a group effort, and
Yeah.
the more people that jump on board, and the more people that get behind it, the better. Like I'd love to go down, go to a random town and somebody come up to me and go, "Oi, I know you. You want to go fishing?" I'll be like, "Hell yeah!" Like it's that's what I'm striving for, or even just. Like I said, somebody seeing you wearing the shirt and they come up and strike a conversation. It's all about that. It's just yeah, trying to strive to create a really supportive community.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's awesome. Do you think when it comes to mental health, just looking at your work family, your family outside of work, friends, mates, do you think we're getting better at talking about mental health and opening up and checking in on each other?
At the moment, I think so. Like I'm involved. Like I've got a lot of friends that are they're part of a lot of these mental health groups that are starting up, and there's a lot of them getting around now, which is really good to see.
Mm.
Whether it's just catching up for a coffee, or there's a lot of different avenues out there. It's not just like mental fishing is just one aspect that I'm trying to push, but there is a lot of different things out there. Like a lot of groups that catch up. On a weekend and and have a chat, and they're open for everyone. And I think that's really good to see because go back quite a few years, you didn't really have a lot of that,
No.
like, and it's good to see that there's a lot of groups focusing on mental health because that's what we need.
Yeah,
Mm.
exactly. Well, if anyone does want to get some of these awesome shirts, find out about what you're doing, where's the best place to go?
So at the moment, we're getting a web page designed. I've got fishing shirts and hats and jumpers, etc., coming.
Oh,
They're just so that takes little bit of time, but they'll be released soon. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Instagram's probably the biggest one at the moment.
yeah,
I've got a lot of people that just reach out and they let me know, and I just post them out to them. So yeah, we're working on getting a better platform for all that kind of stuff. So hopefully it'll be done very shortly.
yeah. That's
Mm.
awesome. And I think to finish off, I may or may not have any idea what you're talking about when you tell me a story that you may or may not have. But for the people who love fishing, tell me what's the best trip you've been on, the best fish you've caught.
Oh, righto. Well, I'd have to say the Swains. I do a trip out there with 18, 17 blokes. So the Swains trips are always really good because they're once a year and you get to go out, 250k offshore, and it's a
Mm.
lot of people don't get out there. So the stuff that you get to see and the stuff you come across, and the laughs that you have, it's once a year. It's pretty special. So yeah, that would be one of my top trips, I reckon.
Yeah.
And what was the other question?
Best fish.
Best fish. Oh, jeez. Um, I think any fish is a good fish, to be quite honest. Like, yeah, we all go out there hoping to catch a fish, and if you do catch one and it's only one, well, it's going to be the best fish, isn't it?
Just like my tiny little flathead will forever be the best fish that I've caught.
Oh, hey, hey, it's a memory, isn't it? Like
Exactly.
and it would have put a smile on your face, that's for sure.
It did, and it was delicious. And my lovely friend who took it off the hook, what is it? Is it a spur or whatever on a flathead?
Yeah,
Like got her and she bled. It was a whole thing. It was a memory.
yeah, yeah.
Ken, it's been a pleasure, mate. Make sure you go and follow Mental Fishing on Instagram, on Facebook, TikTok. We'll keep an eye out for the website as well. Make sure you tag us in stuff, Ken, so we see it as well and we'll share it around. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us for this episode of Digging Deeper with At the Coalface. You can download more episodes of the podcast on all your favourite podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, also on YouTube, Amazon Music, all the usual places. Make sure you leave us a rating and a review. We'd love to hear what you thought. And if you do have a story idea or something you'd like us to talk about on the podcast, please send me an email, jess@thecoalface.net.au. I'd love to hear from you. And we'll be back next time for another episode of Digging Deeper with At the Coalface.